So the second beer we're enjoying tonight from Brewery is Gift. And Brewery as a concept came to me one day while I was out walking the dog. And time kind of stood still, and everything about Brewery came to me at once. The idea that we should be in cans, our tone of voice online, the modern kind of more American style beer influence coupled with the more French, Belgian upbringing that I'd had in my beer education. The fact that we ought to be some sort of cooperative, or that it should be shared from the start. But one of the other things that came to me really strongly was my friend John Robinson's an artist, and I always thought his cans would look brilliant, or his art would look brilliant on cans. And it was before kind of Tuul had come on the scene and some of the other Scandi brewers. And when I first saw their cans and their designs, I really took that as an encouragement and as a proof of concept in a way. So John does a different painting for every beer that we do. It's an absolute fucking nightmare logistically, but we really think it works quite well. And Gift has a unique story with that. So Gift is the only beer that we've brewed which is dictated to by the painting. So every other time we come up with a concept or a recipe, or we brew a beer that John gets the taste sometimes, and he brews or he paints a painting based off the beer. But this one was originally painted for one of our core beers for our export stout. So we launched with 3 or 4 different core beers at the very beginning, and John did massive paintings for these ones. And this black and red one, which is hanging in our brewery still, was to be our export stout. And it was a bit awkward because John and I just started this working relationship, and I was like, John, that painting's class, it's brilliant, but it's not the export stout that we're trying to brew. But I know exactly the kind of beer that needs to be. So we took his artwork and the painting that he did as pure inspiration for this beer. And I knew immediately at the same time too that it needed to be called Gift, because it reminded me of a poem my friend Podrick, it's on the back of the label, writes about being gentle and kind with yourself and resting into the end of a day. And that's kind of the setting and the tone and the theme and the place in your mind, at least, that we hope you find yourself in as you enjoy Gift. So we brew Gift pretty regularly. We have a lot of fun brewing Imperial Stouts. We have a coffee roaster beside us, so we regularly release new kind of adjunct Imperial Stouts with all kinds of stuff. We've just released one with chipotle and cacao and vanilla and coffee, and it's really fucking class. I'm making a mess here, sorry. So this is Gift, and this is just our straight up stout. It's just good to have an old fashioned stout. It's 9.3% this one. Normally we brew it much closer to 8, but half of this batch is actually going into some Bushmill whiskey barrels and some bourbon barrels, and actually some Pedro Jimenez barrels. So we wanted to beef it up a bit before putting it into the barrel, so it didn't overtake what we thought it might do if it was only 8% stout. So it's pretty straightforward for us. It's made with a English yeast, which we've allowed to be quite expressive in it, and apart from that, it's got everything you expect in an 8% stout, except we've made it 9.3, and we've tried not to make it too alcoholic. We haven't let it ferment it too high in temperature. We've let the yeast play, and then everything else you'd expect, the chocolate, the roast. Oh, it's lovely. So if you get a bit of light into it, it shouldn't be totally opaque. It should shine through a bit. But it's just a really balanced, scarily drinkable beer for 9.3%. So this is Gift, and enjoy.